From AM 1680, this is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. And now, here's your host, Lance Cardoza.
Good morning, everybody. It's a brisk Tuesday morning. I love these cool mornings here in the Valley. Yeah, because you know the heat's around the corner. I have Ryan Jacobson in studio with the Fresno County Farm Bureau. Ryan, thank you for joining me again.
Well, welcome to be back. Thank you for having me. I love being here.
I love these mornings in the Valley. It's that nice, cool morning. And as you know, sometimes we get strange weather this time of year, and one of the biggest agricultural events in the world is happening, and it just kicked off at 9 a.m. That's the World Ag Expo down in Tulare, California, and we're going to get a call from Jennifer Fox a little later in the program, giving us an update on the opening day out there, but It looks like clear with no rain right now.
It looks gorgeous. Actually, Lance, I'm going to tell you it's a little too gorgeous because this time of year we like to see maybe a little few more raindrops coming through. It's been a little dry the last few weeks, but overall it's going to be a perfect Ag Expo this year. In fact, I think it was 2 years ago. You go out there with boots during that rain. It gets a little slippery out there, so you don't got to worry. It doesn't look like you got to worry about that this year. It's going to be an absolutely perfect one to go down and visit.
We were broadcasting live out there, and we will be broadcasting here with Talk Radio 1680 KGED later today out at the World Ag Expo with Guillermo Moreno and others, and that'll be live out on the grounds. Jennifer Fox with the World Ag Expo will give us that report. But yeah, 2 years ago, I remember broadcasting live, bunch of electronics out there. I think I was doing a TV piece. As you know, working in TV, weather, permitting, you don't know what's going to happen. It was like we needed a boat.
Well, I love it because they have this drainage figured out just perfectly, but it turns a river into the middle of the grounds, and It was quite the experience there. But yeah, it's hard to believe. Ag Expo, it's here. We're talking about one of the biggest, it is the biggest on the planet, and It's right here in our backyard. And so for local folks, it's a incredible opportunity to go out there and just check out what's going on in the innovation technology side of agriculture. Lance, it's it's not a secret. You get business leaders in here every week, and we're talking about the business climate of California. We know it is more, it's difficult. It's more difficult than you have in traditionally other places throughout the country. And, this World Ag Expo allows us the opportunity to see the latest and greatest, what's out there, what's yet to come. There's things, there's a lot of discussion about what's just a couple years out, but farmers and ranchers, if you want to stay productive, you want to stay on the cutting edge, this is the place to really kind of get a good grasp on what's going on in the industry.
So you work with the farmers and people in agriculture throughout the Valley, representing Fresno County's Farm Bureau. Innovation, a lot of innovation comes right here from our Valley, because when you're doing the work day to day, you're problem solving, you're figuring out that better mousetrap on how to get things done. And it's amazing every year when you see the innovation that comes from the Valley, and you see that all the time. Do you see that that's one of the leading things that a lot of people go out to the World Ag Expo for, to find out what the new cutting edge thing?
Yeah, for farmers and ranchers, first and foremost, it's an opportunity to go knock 2 or 3, 5 things off their list that they wanted to go talk to, XYZ salesmen to find out what's going on with this particular thing they needed for their farm. So they're able to get a lot of business done within a very concentrated time frame, which is number one benefit. But I think we all know that the technology innovation side is tremendous. And you talked about, we don't talk about that here in our backyard enough. We always think about agriculture and just the singular effect of growing things, but it's the upstream, downstream, all the other jobs that are associated with what's going on here locally. And the innovation technology side, the equipment that comes from here is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's going worldwide. Obviously, it's allowing us to stay competitive with the rest of the world. Because we're not going to stay competitive based off of the regulatory climate we have here. We need to find things that make us better, smarter farm operators, and so the more that we can do to take advantage of what we have here, and really we got some brilliant minds that are able to put some of the best things to use right here in the backyard. It's great. And I think I'd be remiss not talking about irrigation technology. Yesterday I hosted the American Farm Bureau president, Zippy Duvall, who's here in town for the opening ceremonies this morning at World Ag Expo. And I'd be remiss not mentioning Fresno State. What we've been able to do as far as water technology, irrigation technology is absolutely amazing.
Is that the wet center?
Yes, it's wet and everything else that's around or surrounds it. But we are the center of the universe when it comes to irrigation and water technology. What we're doing here is absolutely amazing. And this is where people are coming now to Fresno, California, throughout the world to put their new technology to use, or to see what it means here for farmers and ranchers. And so it's an exciting time when you talk about what's going on. I mean, we have our issues. I mean, increasing minimum wage, declining number of hours for agricultural overtime, and those types of issues. And so when you start looking about how are we going to stay in business, how are we going to stay productive, it's going to be these individuals that are in these allied industries that are down at World Ag Expo helping us solve those problems.
And I'm sure all the time there's new ideas. Every time the people get together, they start thinking, because there's many countries involved that are on those grounds. Like we were saying a couple years back, when you needed a boat, I was amazed. It was raining, but there were still thousands and thousands of people doing business.
Well, it's turned into it's not just a farmer rancher thing anymore, as you're very well aware. It is a tourist attraction. I mean, we got folks that from a tourist attraction that's people are flying in to go there. They maybe have very limited interaction with agriculture, but for them it's an opportunity to really celebrate and look at the newest and greatest things that are out there. And so it's exciting time. It's an opportunity for farmers and ranchers. There's a lot of good deals down there. A lot of times the best show promotions for the year for these different operators, they run during farm show. And so the farmers are able to take advantage of that. So that's a great thing. And so there's a lot of pluses. And then, again, I think I'd be remiss not mentioning that a lot of people just go down for what's it? Is it the steak sandwich?
There's
tri-tip sandwich, and there's a steak sandwich, and there's
it's
the food, whatever.
And I love they work with volunteers. So those are all schools for many years as the fundraiser, and they count on that fundraiser every year. And that steak sandwich, the tri-tip sandwich, I know 1,400, they call them orange jackets, are the volunteers that really make everything work and keep it moving.
That show does not happen without those volunteers. Absolutely amazing what those folks come through every single year. Just a dedicated group of folks that come through, and everybody looks at it just being the 3 days. I mean, first and foremost, most of this was being set up weeks and weeks ago. Even a lot of the exhibitors, they started early last week setting this all up, and so they're exhausted by the time Thursday afternoon rolls around. These folks are tuckered out. They haven't been through just 3 days. It's typically 2 weeks. But these volunteers, this is the year-round deal, and they've turned that the international exposure to utilizing those buildings for other purposes and everything else, and what they've done, it's absolutely amazing. I give them a lot of credit for, as a community, for what they've been able to build.
And you were talking about, it's not just an equipment show. One of the things that I've been working with over this past year is the District Export and Trade Council, the DEC, and they are doing an event there with teaching people, if you have products here in the United States, on how to do trade, international trade, and they have a seminar. So there's many seminars also too for anybody working in the business of agriculture or anything around the business of agriculture, because I think we forget. A lot of people think it's just a guy out there in a tractor working a field, but it takes an army. We have a social media person here working with the Bureau that there's an army of people that support this industry, CPAs, attorneys, everything Lance, down the line.
It's amazing, and we don't talk about and celebrate that enough. These folks that, it's the my job depends on ag movement. And so maybe you're directly or indirectly, actually tied to the land itself. But the fact is that we have 150 years plus of infrastructure here that's been built. And it's not just the hard infrastructure. You're thinking of roads and those types of things and electricity, but it's the infrastructure of the banking systems, the CPAs. It's the network of these folks that have come together for 150 years to make this area as productive as it is. And it's absolutely amazing. I can't give enough credit to those folks that really do help us do what we do there, because for every dollar generated on the farm, typically that dollar generates and goes through the local economy 3.5 times. So we talk about a $7-8 billion industry, direct farm gate, but you're talking indirectly, it's a $30 billion industry here. And so the ramifications of when you start talking the water issues, labor issues, and everything else, those are real world consequences for up and down the valley. These are affecting folks that are in the middle of the city that don't ever go on a farm, but it is truly this ag economy, or this backbone of our economy here is agriculture. We really depend upon what agriculture brings to the table and those jobs and just everything else that's associated with it.
In studio here with Business Leaders Live, Ryan Jacobson with Fresno County Farm Bureau. We're going to take a short break in just a moment, Ryan, but before that, maybe give me 3 topics, 3 focal points right now that the Fresno County Farm Bureau is focused on for agriculture or your constituents, your farmers, or anybody in the business. What are 3 real quick ones before we go out to break, and we'll come back and talk about it?
Well, I can say the joke is water, 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 because everything we seem to do is water. But water, labor issues, and then obviously I'd probably still say air quality is still up there too. Air quality is still important issues here in the Valley that agriculture is working on significantly.
Perfect. When we come back, we have Ryan Jacobson right here in the studios here at Business Leaders Live. Tune in at Talk Radio 1680 KGED every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. You can catch this episode and others at lancecardoza.com. We'll be right back with more with Ryan Jacobson in studio. Background, or anybody for a guest for future Business Leaders Live, please let us know. Little inside information since we're on the Facebook Live. Ryan is a huge Simpsons fan.
Yes, I am.
So
yes,
if you don't know Ryan, yeah, that's one thing I know about him. That's a tidbit.
Yeah. What are we, 31 years now.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
So, yeah, no, huge Simpsons fan.
Oh, yeah. And my kids, a lot of people say, you let your kids watch that? I'm like, they have a sense of humor, like a real good sense of humor because of it. And they're witty.
Yep.
They're witty, and both of my girls, they loved it. A lot of times they say, you let us watch that? Like, a lot of those jokes we didn't get.
Yeah, but the funniest thing is you always got to think that it takes about 6 months to a year for an episode to be done. So it's always funny to see the lag time in the political and other social issues that are going on.
Yeah.
But The Simpsons, I mean, that's one thing that they've really been known for is covering some of those issues through their episodes.
How'd they start? Tracy Ullman's show?
Yep, that's correct.
What I thought. It was Tracy Ullman.
Homer talking all different at that point.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Love the show.
30 seconds, I think he said. So water, air quality.
Yep. Oh, I want to talk Blossom Trail too.
Blossom.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to remind you that you can get past episodes of Business Leaders Live by going to lancecardoza.com. That's LanceCardoza.com. And a couple of housekeeping items. This Friday night, if you don't have a plan for your Valentine, if you don't have that plan and you're trying to figure it out, and you look nervous, Ryan. So if you don't have a plan, you probably do, though.
There is a plan with Parker. I mean, I can get Parker.
Oh, you can do
I like the Parker plan. That's a pretty cool thing.
Parker's plan. He's probably maybe booked up now, but you can get Parker, the mascot of the Fresno Grizzlies, to deliver you a little something special and to your Valentine. But this Friday night at Bitwise is the Pulse. Is doing entertainment, and the band Love and Theft. And a lot of people think, wow, they're going to Bitwise? They're playing the theater, the John W. Dodson Theater. 6 o'clock, the doors open. 7 o'clock is the show. Love and Theft. Stephen and Eric will be there with the whole band. Opening, McKenna Faith will be there, and they'll be playing acoustic sets and telling stories, and you have that intimate concert there.
That's awesome.
Friday night.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Bring your honey down there and enjoy Love and Theft this Friday at Bitwise at the South Stadium. It'll be a lot of fun this Friday night. So I wanted to put that plug in for Bitwise. Today is my youngest sister is Thule. Thule CARDOZA. So I have Taja, Melissa, and Thule.
Oh.
And Thule is celebrating her birthday. Not going to say how old she is. She's an ag mechanics teacher, teaching some welding down there in Visalia.
Oh, terrific.
And Thule, happy birthday. Just wanted to put that out there. In studio, I've been talking to Ryan Jacobson with Fresno County Farm Bureau. Before we went to break, Ryan, we were talking about some of the Valley's issues, some of the hot buttons, some of the things where you focus on air quality, water, and water, and it relates to almost everything in that industry. But coming up, just probably a week away, is the Blossom Trail.
Yeah, it's that time of year. I mean, it obviously goes right hand in hand with the World Ag Expo. We had the opening ceremonies here last Friday, and we typically do that to preempt when the blossoms are. But they're already starting. I already see some of the early tree fruit. The pink blossoms are out. With this weather that we have right now, I would suspect that by the weekend, we're going to have blooms popping everywhere. And so it's always about traditionally Valentine's Day that we really have a strong bloom going. It's going to be no different this year. Things are going to be really going. And I just can't encourage people enough, Lance. I mean, I tell people I've never been told I'm wrong. I mean, it's one of the world's largest pollination events taking place right in our backyard. Yeah. Somewhere in the neighborhood, about 80 to 90% of the nation's bees are here taking care of our almond crops. And it's just absolutely amazing that folks need to get out, go see it. It's one of the, we drive by them, we see them, they're pretty, but go out and see all the different colors. I mean, DC has a major celebration for 50 to 100 of those trees. And we got millions of them, millions upon millions that are here in our backyard. And so it's just a great time. We got some good weather coming up for the month. And so, take advantage, go out and see them. And
so if nobody's ever done that before, the Blossom Trail, sort of give me the experience. So you show up, you have a trail that you can go visit.
Yeah, so it's really unique. I think it's goblosomtrail.com. You go on there and you can check out their Twitter account actually has where the blossoms are popping, so you can go on instantaneous and see where the latest blooms are coming out there. But we have, I mean, it's not an understatement. We have folks that come all over the world that want to go just on the Blossom Trail because they don't see that in their backyard. Most places in the country don't have those types of blooms. I mean, to see these trees, blow up in just pure blossoms, no leaves or anything, is something what of an amazing feat. And so it happens every year, but we get busy in our day-to-day lives and everything else. And a lot of people just don't carve out that time. But go on the weekend, look up the Blossom Trail online. It just gives you a map of where you can follow, where some of the higher routes are you're going to see more blossoms, and check it out there. It's really cool. And these blossoms, they're beautiful. They smell great. And they just, most folks can't get enough of them. But most importantly is that's economics here to our local ag economy.
Exactly. And I think that's a little bit of education, a little bit of science, and that sort of reflects to why we are the breadbasket of the world. There is a relationship to those blossoms, the bees, and to pollination of other crops.
Yep.
And how does that, in a layman's terms, so we don't have to go real deep into it, but that is a direct reflection why other communities are not a big fertile properties, but we are in the valley, and that's why we do have a Blossom Trail. The bees do carry pollination to other crops that are direly needed. That's why sometimes you'll see, I think, orchards where they bring bees in, so they can pollinate. And give us a little, just how that works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So let's start with the basics. I mean, the reason that we do what we do here is because, first and foremost, we have an amazing climate. We have what's called a Mediterranean environment, the only one found in North America. There's only 5 found worldwide. It allows us to grow things like almonds. We grow somewhere in the neighborhood, I think, of about 78% of the world's supply of almonds. And so they only can grow here compared to most other places. And so almonds, for example, the reason we need those bees is that there is a cross-pollination for most varieties required. And so you have alternating rows. Every other row is the same variety, and in between there's a different variety, and those bees go back and forth between those and actually cross-pollinate and allow those blossoms to be set. And so really, really amazing, something as simplistic as that, but we are heavily reliant upon bees. That's why we have such like I said, 80 to 90% of the nation's bees here in our backyard. I mean, you're talking the Dakotas, to Florida, to Georgia. All these places are sending their bees here because a lot of these beekeepers' major income from the year comes from California almond growers now. And so it's a very, very important time for them, very important time for the bees. Couple fun tidbits on bees. I mean, they'll fly up to 5 miles to find a food source. The amount of miles miles they'll travel is absolutely amazing. I mean, so the bee industry, extraordinarily important here. About a third of your plate, every single day, a third of your plate is the direct result of bee pollination.
Bee pollination,
So it's a it's one of those critical aspects of the ag industry we don't talk enough or celebrate enough of, but the bee is definitely the hero when it comes to our local almond industry and so many other things.
I'm going to mention a mentor of both of ours, but John Alkire with the Big Fresno Fair. And this year, one of my, I do the big event, Lucha Extreme, the final day. That's a very important day to me. But other than that, just going and looking at the museum, the history of Fresno County, the celebration of the winds of our valley. But when I went into, I believe it was the ag building, and I just talked to the gentleman about the bees.
Yep.
And he loves to talk about the bees. You'll get stuck there for hours. But the education that he was giving people was opening their eyes to a whole new world, that everything in that building, all that beautiful fruit and everything the bees play a huge role in that. And he was talking about the almonds. And so when I heard that, as a lot of people, they don't know that. They have no idea. So it tells you, what this ecosystem is so important to the growth of this business.
Yeah, the health of bees is huge. I mean, the California almond industry by itself is committing millions of dollars towards making sure that our bee population stays healthy. They're working with growers and beekeepers, making sure that we do nothing to harm the bees, because we cannot state enough is that this is truly a symbiotic relationship. We got to make sure that we keep those beekeepers going strong, going healthy, because there's been some issues as over the last decade.
Shortage of bees.
Yeah, colony collapse disease took a big toll on them, both nationwide and worldwide. And so, and there's fewer and fewer beekeepers. I mean, this is something that we don't see enough of them. So we're thankful for those individuals that are a part of that industry, because so many of them, I mean, they live semi-nomadic lifestyle for about 6 months of the year, because so many of these folks are coming from climates where it's a lot more harsher, and so they're taking advantage here, but they got to come to California, got to bring all their bees here, and so we got millions upon millions or billions of bees being shipped here right now that, like I said, play a critical part in our California ag economy.
And when you're going to school, it's not like one of those things that I'm going to be a beekeeper. I mean, it's something that you either grew up through it or you just had this fascination about the industry.
The multi-generational stories are very cool.
It's very cool stuff. So it's not like something that we're bringing people up into that industry. So it's something, yes, we do need to protect and be focused on and educate people too. I think that's the other piece, letting people know how this whole system works.
Yep.
Valley air is a big topic all the time. And it's something that the Fresno County Farm Bureau is always focused on.
Yeah, without a doubt, Lance. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, and I know some days it's harder to tell that, but our area is significantly cleaner than it was 20 years ago. There's been major strides on that, and I like to always bring up the point that ag has been a major player in that. Billions of dollars have been spent by the ag economy to replace engines, to do better practices on the farm, to do everything we can to help contribute to cleaner air. And so while we've made big strides, we know there's a long ways still to go. It's a very expensive process, and it only gets more complicated as you go more forward, because we've done all the easy stuff, the low-hanging fruit has all been taken care of. So it becomes much more costly to every little piece of emission reductions we get going forward. But nevertheless, the Air Pollution Control District here locally has done a very good job of working collaboratively with us and making sure that we can do everything that's financially and physically as possible to contribute towards our cleaner air. And so while we still got our issues going forward, I mean, we were looking at some very costly regulations, the ag economy. We are proud of where we've been so far, and we're thankful that we've had these strong partnerships to make it happen.
The Fresno County Bureau, and just a Farm Bureau, it plays as an advocate for agriculture business and that industry and farm, not just farmers, but anybody involved in that industry.
Yep.
So those are very important topics that you continually keep in the forefront and make sure our politicians know and are educated to the needs of our valley and where we're going, but at the same time, very focused on our environment and our air and what we're doing as to cohesively live together.
Yeah, that's one of the. I'm so glad you brought this up. I mean, that's one of those I'm very proud to talk about. I do believe farmers and ranchers are some of the best stewards of our land. California has approximately 27.5 million acres in agriculture production here in California. Now, a lot of that is rangeland and whatever else, but it's a working landscape. It's landscape that's being put to productive use, which represents, give or take, about 25% of the land mass of California is in California agriculture. And so farmers are the stewards of such a significant part of our land, and they are making sure that they can do what they can to pass it on to the next generation, to be a part of a healthy ecosystem. I mean, it benefits us all, and California farmers and ranchers are making sure they're doing their part to really contribute to that.
And when we come back, I want to talk about water.
Yes.
Because water is a topic that is such a big need in completely in our world. It's a need, and it's
the fuel of our engine.
Yeah.
So.
And it's as I call it in California, I think it's the blue gold.
Yeah,
it really is the blue gold. You know, we had the big gold rush, and water is our gold, and we have to treat it preciously and be able to allocate it properly.
Without a doubt.
And we'll talk about water when we return. And how does somebody find out more information about the Fresno County Farm Bureau while we're halfway through the show here?
Oh, great. FCFB.org. So the acronym for Fresno County Farm Bureau, FCFB.org, or any of the social media platforms. We're on all of them, and would love for folks to follow us and kind of see what's going on both in the industry and our organization.
We got a couple of minutes. Anything that's coming up seminar-wise, or anything that general public can get an education to what's going on? I know Blossom Trail's about a week away.
Yeah.
That's a way you can get a great education and see what's going on out there and really have a beautiful time in the Blossom Trail. But anything with the Farm Bureau, Fresno County Farm Bureau?
So one thing that we are very huge proponents of, we were talking about the environmental side of agriculture, but the other big side is that we can't do things without our people. People are a critical component there, and the people that make up our ag industry are very special. Everybody from the farm employees to the farmers and the allied industries. And so one thing we do a ton of is we do a ton of safety seminars and trainings for the employees that are out on the operations. We want them safe. We want every single one of them to go safe home every single night. And so what we do is everything from tractor trainings to equipment trainings for harvest to you name it. We're having some heat illness prevention, obviously very big here in the Valley. We're doing a lot of that. So that's a lot of things that folks don't know we do. So it's important for us.
Absolutely. Well, in studio, I have Ryan Jacobson, Fresno County Farm Bureau. When we come back, we're going to talk about one of the most precious items in farming and just throughout our valley, and that's water. It's the blue gold of California. We'll be right back right here with more Business Leaders Live on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. We're live on Facebook. Make sure you join us. We'll be right back with more Business Leaders Live. Did I get you right when you said 2? Watch out behind you there. Did I get him right when he said 2? Sorry about that, Facebook. You're getting the inside.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know if I had 2 minutes or you were saying something else. 2 minutes. It was 2. Okay. Okay. I thought maybe he was saying something. I thought, wait a minute, I got it wrong because he was laughing.
To be fair, I saw the white flag.
He did.
I'm like, I gotta finish.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Not yet. Yeah, I'll text her again. I know she's probably super busy. I'll just remind her right now. Yep, Facebook Live. We don't have to worry about Ryan. He's always on. Yeah, I've had business leaders over the years that forget we're Facebook Live. You know, and especially I had Mayor on. Mayor Brand was here last week.
Oh, awesome.
Had Mayor Brand and Cliff Titian and Oliver Baines with the new market tax credit. Will Oliver with the Fresno County Economic Development.
Good friends, yeah.
They were all around the table, and I kept reminding because they don't get to see each other. So
Yep.
It was social hour. So I was like,
exactly. No,
we're
awesome.
on Facebook Live.
That's terrific. That's awesome.
But it's fun. Facebook Live, you get the inside. You get to see how it works. And everybody jumps on their phone in between, is trying to catch up with everything before you get back on the air.
Tell people to listen in. So.
Listen in. I always get questions or they'll say, hey, I just saw you on the radio, and they'll call me.
Yep. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I'm like, okay, you just saw that I'm on the Facebook, or you heard me on the radio,
on
and then
Facebook
you're
Live,
calling.
Can they post in the comments? Or
you can post in the comments.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, that's cool.
So you can post in the comments, and that's why I encourage everybody to share it too, and then you'll get your constituents and people of your Facebook Live will comment in on it. And I like the bee. I would love to bring a company that was a beekeeper.
Oh, yeah.
To really talk about how that business works.
Oh, that's easy. I can easily do that.
And I know you could probably connect that, because I think it's one of those things that people really don't realize how big of a role with almonds that it's playing.
Yep.
So
and there's they play,
and without it,
and how difficult it is. I mean, it's livestock. I mean, they are literally keeping live.
Tell you one thing. Here's a tidbit before we go on. Rattlesnakes don't do well with bees, because when a rattlesnake comes and tries to find a safe haven in a bee box, bees aren't having it, and they will take a snake out. Because I've had beekeepers say, "Oh yeah, rattlesnakes don't last in a."
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody, to Business Leaders Live right here in the Talk Radio 1680 KGED studios. I have Ryan Jacobson with the Fresno County Farm Bureau in studio, and we're talking about agriculture. It's the World Ag Expo kicking off today, so it's the big topic this week. If you're trying to get a hotel or trying to even go to dinner, especially in the South Valley, it's going to be tough.
I was in Visalia eating last night. Yes, the restaurant was very busy.
busy. The economic impact that it brings, just that show this week, is amazing, and you'll see the numbers come out for the World Ag Expo. Jennifer Fox from the World Ag Expo has just called in, Ryan, and we're going to talk to Jennifer, and she's out there at the World Ag Expo right now. It just opened the gates at 9 a.m. Jennifer Fox, thank you for being on Business Leaders Live. Oh, are you there,
Hello?
Jennifer? Jennifer, are you? Can I hear you? Oh, she might not be able to. Hello, Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer. How are you doing? Okay, we're going to go back. Ryan will talk a little bit till we get it figured out with Jennifer real quick. We were talking at the top of the show, the World Ag Expo.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot of meetings this week and a lot of people moving around. And then
I'm going to miss opening day, but I'll hopefully be down there tomorrow. So it's a great time. I mean, again, you walk around, you get to see so many folks that you don't get to see on a routine basis. And so you can take care of a lot of business in a short amount of time there. And it's, I don't know. I think even this big adults there, and there's still a kid in us that loves to see those big tractors. I mean, you get to see every
our Disneyland.
Oh, it is absolutely
next to the big Fresno Fair. To me, I think it's the big event.
Oh, it's cool to see, and of course, I mean, it's one of those things that's the cross pollination. I mean, the bee reference there, but the cross pollination of a grape farmer gets to see what's going on in other industries, and the other industries get to see goes on in the grape industry. So there's a lot of coolness factor just to see. You get the bigger, broader picture of what's going on in the ag economy than just our individual silos that we're always caught up in.
Absolutely. I think we're trying to fix it with Jennifer. We'll talk about it. So Jennifer, thank you for calling in, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get her in right now. But the World Ag Expo has kicked off today. It'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that you can make your way out to the World Ag Expo and enjoy that. Like, it's a big family reunion for agriculture all over the world coming to Epicenter in Tulare, and a lot of discussion about hot topics like in our area, air, bees, as we discussed. And one of the biggest before we went to commercial break was water.
Yeah.
And water is an ongoing issue. And I think it's not only in our climate with irrigation and water. You have agricultural industries, and one was just impacted with fires, very similar to California fires, is Australia.
Yep.
And Australia struggles with sort of the same climate issues that we do here in the Valley, correct?
Yeah, without a doubt. And so first and foremost, it's funny, Lance, that you mentioned World Ag Expo and these issues. There's so many seminars that a lot of people don't even know take place, and those seminars talk about these issues. And so for those folks headed down there, make sure you get your pamphlet or your brochure there and check out the different seminars taking place there. But yeah, all these are major issues there. Water is the top. Water is such a broad category. It covers so many different segments of our industry there. But water is something that's definitely covered down at World Ag Expo, and it's something that we truly here at Farm Bureau spend a majority of our time on. Nothing else matters within this industry if we don't have the secure water, reliable water supply that we need for our industry.
We need to take just a quick short break, and we'll be right back more with Ryan Jacobson. Let's talk about water. We'll be right back in the studios at Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Something. Go ahead and slide over. Oh, yep. Oh, yeah.
Let me just,
Was it a channel not closed off?
Oh, you know why?
Do you have her number?
No, she's on hold right now.
She's still on. Okay, cool.
Okay, so you're good.
As soon as we come back in, let's bring her on.
Yeah, the mono wasn't down. That's why she couldn't hear.
Okay.
Oh, I'm good.
You're good? Yeah.
Did you
She
want
almost went flying.
you able to talk to her now then?
I think so. We'll bring her in and have a brief conversation, then we'll come out to water.
How about now?
Jennifer, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I hear
Can you
a program. I hear commercial.
Yep.
You wanna? I'm sorry.
I hear commercial.
You heard, you know why?
Oh.
It's gotta be on. Right now.
Jennifer, can you hear me?
Yes. I
Okay,
can hear
perfect.
you.
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll have you on in just a moment.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Cool.
Do I need to hit that or no? You're good.
No, that's only if you want to talk to her. In
Okay.
the break.
Okay.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back to Business Leaders Live here at Talk Radio 1680 KGED. This Friday, Valentine's night, it's Love and Theft at Bitwise. You got to get your tickets to Bitwise. Wanted to put that plug back out there. Stephen and also Eric will be there with the band Love and Theft, and it all happens downtown Fresno this Friday. On the phone, live from the World Ag Expo, I have Jennifer Fox. Jennifer, thank you for calling in.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So I'm sure you're just busy, kicking it off there at 9 o'clock.
Absolutely. You know, we had a great opening ceremony. Zippy Duvall spoke. He was phenomenal. And now we're getting ready to reset the room for our keynote speaker for hemp. That's going to start here at 10 o'clock. The folks are on the ground. They have time to come get some great international hemp information. World
Ag Expo, you don't have to be in the business of ag. You are in the business of ag if you live here in the Valley, I'll tell you that. But it gives some details for someone that's never been to the World Ag Expo, wants to go out and experience it Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. What are some of the details? What do they need to do first?
Absolutely. The first thing we recommend is buy tickets online. And if you go online, you can still get them. Get $3 off each of your tickets using promo code WAE20. But then from there, I would definitely download the app and start getting familiar with the show. You can actually log in and save the things you want to see and plan your visit, because with 2.6 million square feet, there's a lot to see.
There's a lot to see. Ryan and I were talking about it. I have Ryan Jacobson in the studio with the Fresno County Farm Bureau, just talking about it's really the epicenter of everything ag in the world is happening there this week. And when they go get their tickets, they just go to worldagexpo.com, or what is the website there?
Worldagexpo.com, and then you'll see the click here for tickets. You can buy tickets online. And we have everything from entry tickets to 7 different ag tours to check out. Some of them are sold out, but if you're still interested in an ag tour, check them out online.
Ag tours is a big business, Ryan, here in the Valley. I know that's
and growing.
Ag tourism is a really big thing. So, yeah, go out and experience it. And, Jennifer, I know you're busy. We're going to let you go. I know you got to get back to many, many things going on there at the World Ag Expo. But also, just before you go, we touched on the Orange Jackets. 1,400 volunteers. How important is that to the functionality of this event?
It is so important. You know, there's 25 full-time staff year-round, but you know what? We can only do so much for sure, and our Orange Jackets have been the base of this show for 53 years, and they will continue to be for much longer. And they staff every inch of this place, starting a couple months out, actually. They come on board and make sure everything gets done and make sure the show happens.
The Orange Jackets are sort of like the bees to the World Ag Expo being the almonds.
Absolutely. Critical components.
Yeah. Critical.
Yeah, not going to happen. Yeah, exactly. Not going to happen without them.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for calling in. And everybody, please go out and experience World Ag Expo if you've never done it before. And if you have, go back out. We're going to have beautiful weather this year. Before the break, Ryan, we were talking about blue gold. We were talking about water and how important water is to our valley. And Fresno County Farm Bureau keeps it in the forefront in the topic. What's some of the things we need to really know about water in our valley and agriculture? And I would say we're almost we get into this state of emergency at times because we're not either planning properly or maybe it's politics.
Yep.
There's many components to this.
No, we're very good about looking at this issue from one extreme to another and one year after another. And so when you talk about the water issue, one of the confusing parts for so many of your listeners out there and just the general public is it's so complicated. There are so many different facets and segments to this issue that it really just kind of does go over most people's head. And so you got to break it down. I mean, you got simplistically, you got water quantity and quality issues. The water quality issues are issues that we deal with on a constant basis in some areas, but the quantity issue, the amount of water, the reliability of water is something that this system is broken. We have, what really from a worldwide perspective is considered the crown jewel going back about 50 years ago. From what was done in the late 40s to the early 70s, as far as the California water system was really, truly something that was remarkable. Something our forefathers had built, the system of canals, reservoirs, and just this network was something that fed this area and this region for so long and was so important. But that system was built for a system of about 20 million people. It was built for a not as necessarily taking the environment into account as now today it does. And so you look at the totality of all those issues, the system needs to be reworked. It needs to be operated. It needs to be added to. It needs to be refunctioned. And there's certain aspects of that we need to work on better as both not just this isn't just an ag issue. This is, as we talked about earlier, this is a statewide issue of importance that we need to work on. We need to continue to push our elected officials for.
Absolutely. And I think it's something that we got to continue to keep talking about. And not only talking, is putting together a plan, because it seems like for many years, people just talk about it.
Yep.
They just talk about it sometimes our politicians can be good at that, but at the same time, we have to let them know that's why we've elected them and why we need to work with them and we need their help to get this done. So Fresno County Farm Bureau is a great advocate of that. We'll be right back. Ryan Jacobson from the Fresno County Farm Bureau, right here on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Perfect. And then the last segment, anything we've missed?
What have I missed, Kaylina?
Yeah, watch that door. You never know. Jesus. I think we got a lot in.
Yeah, we got a ton in. I'm trying to think what else.
Anything you're looking forward to when you go out to the World Ag Expo? I think connecting with people is such the biggest piece of it.
That's the biggest piece of it. Yeah, I know, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like a family reunion out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm trying to think. There was something I'm going to go look at some barns.
Oh, but, personally for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always cool stuff.
California Farm Bureau has a booth down there, so typically we'll hang around there for a little bit, see some folks, and
cool.
It's just the fellowship. I think is the biggest portion of that. So,
and maybe something also too. I know Big Fresno Fair is always really good for our county when we're celebrating ag.
Yep.
Maybe that's something we can talk about too. I know. John does such a great job with that.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's a way that I think we can celebrate the wins of the county and things like that through ag.
Just like this. Earlier, is we are the number one ag county back. I haven't been on the show since that was announced in the fall of last year, but since 2014, we're back as the number one ag county. Maybe only temporary, but yeah.
Who took that crown?
That was Tulare for 1 year, and then Kern for 3 years, I think it was. So,
okay. So, what was Kern's leading crop?
I believe almonds.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Grapes is strong down there, but I think it was almonds.
Between those two, probably. Yep. And wine I think even becoming in our valley or too hot.
What's that?
For grapes?
We grow
or most of them are.
75% of California wines from the San Joaquin Valley.
Okay.
1 out of 5 bottles comes from Fresno County by itself.
Okay. I heard blueberries too. Blueberries,
Blueberries. Very significantly. Yep.
Okay. So
I found out yesterday Georgia is the number one state for blueberries.
I could see Georgia being.
Yeah. So much of their tobacco land was replaced with blueberries, but I believe we're the number 4 or 5 state for blueberries. So yeah, significant crop. So
wow, yeah. So let's hit on those things.
We were out looking at mandarins yesterday. Obviously, that's in season right now. It's a huge crop for the valley now. So hey,
oh, here they are. Yeah. Oh, that's you.
I'm on freaking Fox right now.
Oh my God. Look at you.
Look at that. You're on the Fox network.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Nice. Facebook Live, you're wondering what we're doing. We're watching, we have 2 screens here with, we typically have CNN, we'll have Fox, we'll have coverage from around the world and the political climate. And Ryan's commercial just came on with Ryan and his family on the.
Just randomly caught that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What was the commercial for? What was it?
It's for supporting California domestic oil production.
Ah.
So big issue here. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously a much bigger issue in Kern County, but it's a big issue in Fresno County with Kalinga, the Kalinga oil fields there. But there's obviously been discussion at the state level about trying to stop production in the state. And as much as we all believe in trying to come up with alternative, renewable fuels, the fact is that doesn't happen overnight. And so domestic production is obviously, in my opinion, a much better option than having to purely rely upon foreign imports.
Totally.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Welcome back, everybody, to Business Leaders Live. Another edition, getting ready to wrap up here of Business Leaders Live. Been doing this a little over 2.5 years.
Wow.
Ryan, you've been on the program before, but last time we were on the program, we were in Fresno County. We were trailing. We were number 2 in the world.
Actually, number 3.
We were 3.
Yeah, we were 3
at the time.
Yeah.
But you have exciting news that came not too long ago about Fresno County.
Yeah, late this past fall, we have these crop reports. This is something unique to California. We're the only state that actually has individual county crop reports. They give us a lot of information about acreage and the price value of what those crops were. So it's always a 1 year in delay because of the time it takes to calculate everything. But for the 2018 crop report, Fresno County returned, since the first time since 2014, returned as the #1 agricultural county in the United States.
Wow,
and
congratulations.
So, yeah, no, it's a big deal. So no matter who's on top, I mean, so our the brethren that we kind of go jost back and forth with, it's Tulare and Kern counties. And so, as much as we joke about who's number 1, who's number 2, the fact of the matter is that we are a massive, massive part of the nation's plate. About 2/3 of the nation's fruits and nuts and 1/3 of the nation's vegetables come from California. A great majority of that coming here from the San Joaquin Valley. And the fact is that it's very likely that every single individual in this country is eating something every single day that originated within a very short radius of where we sit here. And it's we do it kind of unceremoniously. We don't talk about it a lot. The nation probably a lot of times doesn't know that their food's coming from this region. But it is pretty cool when you walk into a store on the East Coast and you see Greeley, California, you see Sanger, California, Kingsburg, California. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Dollar packing, and you see that all over the country. I love when I go to other cities or country, you see California represented in a big way, and it's the good work that you guys do, and Tulare and Kern and your brothers in the industry. You were saying that you'll probably make your way out of World Ag Expo, California Farm Bureau. It's to me, a lot of times I see those big events as it's a homecoming.
Yep.
Being able to connect and talk about the issues and also talk about what's the new big thing coming around the corner.
Yeah, I know it's all about the networking. I mean, getting to see folks that, we see each other, but obviously not in, the larger groups that you get to see because everybody's down there. And so it's a great time for that. And it's just, World Ag Expo, the uniqueness of it is just the fact that it does bring together so many segments of the industry because we are as big as we are. We got to talk about this. We are huge. We have incredible diversity. Fresno County alone has 350 different crops, but that diversity as incredible of a strength it is, it also becomes a weakness because everybody kind of is in their own individual silos. It's events like this that kind of break those down and bring in, the My Job Depends on Ag philosophy. I mean, everybody there. I mean, whose ever job depends on ag, the bankers, the CPAs are all there. Maybe not the CPAs. They're kind of busy this time of year.
They're busy this time of year. Yeah. They make their way out there for that steak sandwich.
Exactly.
I know they do. Yeah.
But all those different folks all come together there, and it's a great time. And and just to get the opportunity to, when else do you really get to talk to a farmer from Iowa? Or, it doesn't happen a lot. Or you get to talk to the dairy guy who's selling dairy equipment there from Canada. I mean, all these folks are down there, and getting to see them is pretty cool. And I love how local media concentrates on it's ag time, it's go time, and so it's a good time just to again remember the importance of our local industry.
I was looking at some of the products and the new products out there, and there is for dairy they have a cattle recognition, face recognition.
Insane, right?
Just like TSA has in some of the major airports.
Yep.
But it recognizes the cow, and it knows the cow's needs and everything about the cow through the application. Amazing what we can do today with technology, which has many jobs that could be through a company Bitwise or a technology company affected by My Job Depends on Ag. So it transcends to so many different careers in business in this business of ag as we grow it. Being number one in Fresno County, what are the number one crops here in Fresno County? You mentioned about 350 varieties.
Yep.
What are the top three crops?
So the top three crops, number one, probably not going to be shocking to you, almonds. About 1 in 5 almonds for the state of California grown here in Fresno County. Number two is grapes. So grapes is extraordinarily important. That is a table wine and raisin.
Okay.
We were just talking about, I think it was during the break, we were talking about California wine. A lot of folks don't realize 75% of California's wine, no matter what the label may try to lead you to believe, 75% of California's wine comes from the San Joaquin Valley. And I did some back of the napkin type of calculations. About 1 in 5 bottles of California wine comes from Fresno County alone.
Right.
So so right here in our backyard. So a significant crop. But other things, folks don't realize that we talk about the importance of the top 10 crops, but there's also I think it's 67 or 68 crops that were over $1 million in value. So that by itself is showing tremendous diversity. Just the reflection of who's in that $1 million club, and it's that's a lot of crops. You got to remember. You go to the Midwest, it's 4 different crops is kind of what runs it. We forget as locals here the magical specialness of what we do here in Fresno County and the San Joaquin Valley as a whole. And it's not replaceable. This isn't something you just get up and transplant somewhere else. We talked about the regulatory environment. As much as my farmers sometimes get upset and just wish they could move. The fact is that you don't move this climate, you don't move this soil, you don't move this water. This is stuff that really is uniquely special to the characteristics of what we give here. It's God-given gifts that we really can't replace in any other place here in
this
the
fertile
US.
soil is the place of the breadbasket of the world that I was talking about. So everybody needs to be able to get a bottle of wine and a handful of almonds and keep us number one in Fresno County.
Yeah.
So,
actually, I can't encourage you enough. Yeah. Handful of raisins a day, a glass of wine.
Right.
It's all stuff that will help you. And those, we know about the health benefits of almonds and them being a fulfilling crop. Yeah. So you can really eat a California diet and be extraordinarily healthy. And that's one thing that we're super proud of here.
Perfect. Ryan Jacobson of the Fresno County Farm Bureau on the show. Anything that we've left out that we need to tell anybody about that might be coming up with the Fresno County Farm Bureau?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we're a resource. We're there to help folks. So I talk about helping those in ag and those within the allied ag industries. The fact of the matter is that we are extraordinarily involved in the community, and I always say in any aspect that involves agriculture, which in this industry or this community is everything. And so if we can be of an asset or resource, or you have a club or group that needs somebody to come in and speak about the local ag industry, we're always happy to do that. So utilize us. We talked earlier, fcfb.org, the Fresno County Farm Bureau. It's a website there, or we're on social media. Folks, if we can be of an asset to help you, a lot of times it's correcting misinformation or just talking about the specialness of our industry. If we can help do that, we're always happy to.
Awesome. Ryan, you're always a good interview. You know your topics really well. I know a lot of people have always said Ryan Jacobson's going to go places in this business, not only in ag, but then in everything you do. You're passionate about it, and I know your constituents and the Farm Bureau, they all appreciate your hard work.
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks, Lance.
And thank you for being on the program. Every Tuesday morning, I bring you Business Leaders Live right here at 9 a.m. on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Brian, again, thank you for being on the program. Jennifer Fox out of the World Ag Expo, thank you for calling in. Don't miss it. World Ag Expo. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Go out and enjoy it. We'll talk to you next week right here on Talk Radio 1680 KGED. Clear.